Hello, friends. This is Biting Cat, and you're looking at episode 10 of Let's Elden Ring, a playthrough of From Software's Elden Ring, emphasizing tactics and strategies for players who aren't necessarily experienced with From Software games, perhaps even are intimidated by their reputation for difficulty or lack of forgiveness. This stream is for you. Maybe you've never played one of these games before, but you've been seeing all the hype for the upcoming DLC Shadow of the Erdtree, and you're wondering, is it time for me to get in on this? Is it time for me to see what the excitement is all about? And the answer is yes. It is a great time for you to find out what this is all about. As I say in my channel description, Elden Ring is for everybody. You don't have to be an amazing player to have a good time with this game. We've been emphasizing a character build that hopefully can survive a lot of challenging situations and deal damage to a variety of enemies. And hopefully you see something in here that works and you can follow this along and have a great experience playing this incredible game, this massive, incredible game. So where are we right now? Well, we've killed 3 demigods, which sounds pretty impressive, I know. Right now we're working primarily on a side quest. This is all optional content. This game is so generous. We're doing this massive side quest for Ranni the Witch, who is a demigod with a very interesting story, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit as we go. But right now that story has taken us to Nokron, the Eternal City, where we're going to try to go to the heart of it and find a secret that Ranni is after. We're kind of conspiring with Ranni to upend it all, in her words. So there's this kind of cycle in Elden Ring of death and rebirth, but with each cycle something is lost and this world is in bad shape. It's degrading. The gods have even become sort of debased. Everything is in decay. So Ronnie's idea of upending it all, a kind of cosmic revolution, is I think interesting, and the more you see of this world, the better idea it might seem to be to a lot of players. So we're going to follow Ronnie's quest line and just we're going to see how we feel as we go. But again, right now what that involves is going into Nokron, the Eternal City. After that, we're going to kind of take a side track to visit Sellia, town of Sorcery, and probably fight an optional boss after that. So we'll see if we have enough time. I might go a little longer since it's Saturday. Hey, I apologize. Last night we were supposed to do episode 10, and well, I'm kind of new to this, guys, and I clicked the start recording button instead of the start streaming button. So I have a very nice high quality recording of some content, but the whole strategy here is to do Twitch first and then archive it to YouTube. So I wanted to debut everything here, even if I don't really have much of an audience right now. I might someday, and kind of building a practice or a pattern is important for y'all to know what to expect from me, right? So I want to keep doing what I've been doing, and we'll get back to the regular schedule Monday. I just didn't want to get behind. So with all of that, let's see what is going on in the Eternal City. And we're gonna, believe it or not, we're just gonna jump on this roof, in keeping with a lot of the cool Elden Ring stuff. You can see most of the geography from a distance, so we will be making our way down there. as you might have guessed. But let's get started. There's going to be some not really very difficult platforming, but definitely some platforming here as we jump. So yes, we're going to jump on that skinny ledge. We can go ahead and switch to the bow because we're going to need great bow because we're going to need that in a minute. Then we're going to jump over here. One of the things that happens here, we've already fought some of these little tear blob things, right? Well, what we learn in this area is that some of them can turn into like people, like our mimic tear fight did. So both of the ones down here will turn into NPCs, and they're kind of dangerous. So we want to shut that down as best we can. If we do the great bow on the one in back, that'll just do it. I'm just going to shoot that into nowhere. The second one, it's a little lame. We'll just walk off the cliff if we stand here. And, you know, I've got nothing to prove. We're just going to let them walk off the cliff. We'll know they've done it when our runes jump up. Oh, unfortunately, well, they're not doing it. Well, that's certainly a shame. They might do it now. Nope. Okay, well, we're going to deal with this. And I'm just going to, you know, keep moving to the side when I do this. Although it's not really working all of a sudden. Okay, well, this will be your first time to see whether there we go. For those dodgers, usually the thrust does better than the swing. Anyway, I apologize. That's like a 1 in 100 chance, probably. I've actually not had the person walk off before, so it's pretty amazing. Over here, there's a nascent butterfly. They're very rare. We don't need any. They're for crafting. We don't need any at the moment, but who knows? We might later. We're getting closer to our goal. Now we're seeing that throne from another angle. It seems to be a big skeleton in a robe. You can see all these tears down here. Let's just keep moving. This is a pretty wild area. This whole Eternal City is wild. Know that that big ball is an enemy, interestingly enough. The Black Wet Blade is really for arcane builds. You can put poison or blood or occult damage on a weapon when you add an Ash of War. Definitely, hopefully I have a Stone Sword key, because this is one of the reasons we're here. Backstab is good. You know, as always, you know, time your follow-up thrust accordingly. And there's the Mimic Tear. The Mimic Tear is notorious for making things easy Some kind of ridiculous people will say, "Oh, it's too easy. You're not really playing." Well, buddy, I am really playing video games. It'll be all right. Uh, we're mainly going to rely on the mimic tier, and we're going to get rid of our headless friend. Uh, that isn't to say we're not going to look into other things. I've been curious about the Omen Killer, which we won't find for a while, but I may, when the time comes, invest in that just to see. But that's a ways off. This tier isn't very dangerous. You can just run over there and swat it with your sword if you want. This jump is trickier than it looks. Be sure you're running. You don't want to just casually jump off. As far as I know, there's absolutely nothing you can do down there or even get down there. The Nox flowing hammer. It's kind of an interesting. The free flow or free form is an interesting special attack. We're going to use rocks for all these enemies for all these Nox enemies, because it's harder for them to dodge. Got itself run over. There we go. There's that. We can be very careless with our FP. We're very close to a site of grace, so just unload. It's no big deal. For this last one, we're going to use the shard. And that's that. This whole area should be cleared out now. Get another mimic tier or larval tier for that. And now here we are. Now we need to upgrade our tier, but it's not really important now because we're going to use the great bow to kill all of these from a distance. Some of them turn into our actual mimics and are a hassle to fight, so we're not going to get close to them. We're just going to snipe them all. One of them even turns into a big troll. And speaking of trolling, it happens right after your summon disappears, so it leaves you alone with that enemy. I just take them all out like this. If you would prefer fighting them, you certainly can. I don't want to deny you that fun. Although I've done it before. This is really the first time I've played a magic build. My first playthrough was faith and strength, and my second playthrough was arcane. Actually, the arcane one was the most fun. And I think it's more fun than this one too. Arcane was hard to get started because the early game equipment just isn't really there. So you're kind of trying to scrape things together. But once you get rolling, you've got so many tools at your disposal with the dragon breath and some incantations, but also doing a lot of bleed damage or status buildup. Just it is a fun way to play this game. I do have to say what people say about Magic. This is, I think, the most comfortable way to get through the game. Uh, if you're new, like things like that great bow. I don't know that there's an equivalent for that. I mean, there's an actual great bow um, that you can use. I mean, by now we could have Radahn's great bow, for instance, if we wanted. Uh, but there's just so much flexibility, especially if you do what we're doing now, where we have a good melee weapon with some stagger damage. That just makes us incredibly flexible and versatile in dealing with encounters. Now, before I forget, let's look at what we got. Couple things. The first is the Finger Slayer blade, hidden treasure, the eternal city of Nokron, a blade said to have been born of a corpse. This blood-drenched fetish is proof of the high treason committed by the eternal city and symbolizes its downfall. Cannot be wielded by those without a fate, but is said to be able to harm the greater will and its vassals. So, harm the greater will and its vassals. You can kind of see why maybe Ranni would be interested in that. We'll learn more as time goes by. But that is undoubtedly what she was looking for here. We also got the Great Ghost Glove Ward, and what that does is it'll allow us to upgrade some of our Spirit Ashes to plus 10. Now, we don't have all the stuff in the middle. I don't think we have a 6, 7, 8, or 9. So we still have quite a ways to go, but we got a 10 now. So, we can take this all the way once we find the other stuff. But now we're done here, so let's get out. And eventually we'll clear this area. It's probably worth it. But what I want to do for now is go see Ranni. Alright.
Ah, it was thee, not blithe it seemeth. Even in my slumber I sensed it. It is in thy possession, is it not? The hidden treasure of Nokron. My thanks. Finally all the pieces are in place. Soon must I begin my journey. Upon the dark path only I may tread. Ah, but before I leave, I shall entrust thee with this.
The Carrion Inverted Statue.
My thanks for thy sterling efforts. A strange gift, perhaps. But a rare sort such as thee would welcome it, I'm sure. I am certain now. Fate steered us to our reunion. I must thank Torrent too for his part. You may leave now. It was but brief. But thou gavest me fine service.
Alright, hold on just a second, guys. Sorry, everybody. My landlord is working on the house, and I felt awkward looking at him through the window, so I just put the blinds down. Anyway, let's look at this statue, shall we? Statuette of a scholar with ground and sky inverted reveals the hidden form of the Carrion study hall, which connects to the divine tower. To unveil the secret, affix it to the pedestal of the celestial globe. Now, as I mentioned long ago, we will be visiting the divine tower of Liurnia, and this is how we get there. We're not going to go just yet. We actually need to level up intelligence once, believe it or not, before that makes complete sense. The main reason is we'll get a talisman there that raises intelligence by 5. But the crown that we're going to be wearing raises it by 6. So it's kind of a stopgap measure. We'll wear the crown until we go up in intelligence 1, and then we'll take the crown off. As a reminder, we need to get our intelligence to 38, and that's to cast Night Comet, which, in order to go further in Ranni's quest, we're going to need Night Comet. Night Comet doesn't do a lot of damage, but enemies don't really dodge it. So it's kind of key to deal with more agile enemies. And we're actually going to go get it very soon. The first thing we're going to do is go... well, let's see here. Did I fast travel? Let's just go back to the gazing grounds. There's one tower in this area we haven't visited, and it's been locked, but it's open now. Once we complete this Finger Slayer Blade quest for Ranni, it opens up. It's this one right here. So let's go on up there and see what we can find. And this is Renna's Rise. Now, you may or may not remember when we first met Ranni, she didn't say her name was Ranni. She said her name was Renna. So, was that an alias of Ranni? Is that somebody Ranni knew? We can see there's a Snow Witch hat here, and a robe and a skirt, and that's what Ranni wears. That's her outfit. The hat increases damage of cold sorceries. We're not casting a lot of that, but it's a cool thing if you find yourself picking up cold sorceries and using them. I think it's a 10% bonus. And the other parts of the suit may do even more. I'm not 100% sure. Miniature Ranni. So let's look at that. A doll resembling Ranni the Witch. From head to toe, every detail is perfect. This unresponsive doll seems pleasantly cool. Alright. Let's go to the site of grace. Now, because there's no star by it, this is easy to miss, but you can talk to miniature Ranni. And you get no response. If you do it again, you get no response. But if you do it a third time...
Oh, a dogged fellow, aren't we? Or is it merely thy habit to talk to dolls? Fine. I hadn't expected any soul to recognize me in this guise. But now the cat is out the bag. I cannot allow thee thy freedoms. Perform for me a service as recompense. Eliminate the baleful shadows which prowl these lands. The name of Ranni the Witch is already sullied by thee. I will not brook disobedience in this matter.
Baleful Shadow, which is one of the more annoying fights in the game. We don't have to deal with it for a while. Now, this is a funny area. There's lots of clay men. There's, like always, there's not really a point in fighting them. Look at this thing, though. You want to get in shelter pretty fast. That gravity magic can be pretty damaging. And it's kind of cheesy and boring, but we're just gonna hit it with a charged great bow attack. Then we're gonna get behind the wall. Yeah, we're gonna just keep doing it. We could just run by it. The problem with that is that we want to do more than just get by it. We want to run around in this area and collect all the loot. So, and it will really interfere with that. So, we're gonna just kind of hang out and kill it. We can use the runes anyway. We need a lot of runes, actually. We need a rune to level. We need runes to get our intelligence up one, so we don't have to wear the crown. We need runes to upgrade our mimic tier. You'll be probably shocked at how expensive it is to get that upgraded. And we're going to need runes to buy the Glintstone Comet Shard, which is the other spell besides the Comet that we want to use. It's 12,000 runes. So just a whole lot of expense. There's a 6, 2 6s. So really all we're doing now is we're just running around and collecting stuff. Don't stay in one place. You might want to keep your red flask ready so you can heal at a moment's notice. This thing here unleashes madness, and we haven't really dealt with madness. It's another status build-up. But instead of like it building up and then you getting inflicted with something like poison or rot, you die immediately. So it's on a whole different level of danger compared to something like poison. You do not want that gauge to build up. As always with this stuff, just keep running. There's a 7. Because they will keep attacking you, and some of them have, like, this guy has this little bolo. It doesn't really matter. Once we get down here, I'm going to check. See how many. Is anyone following us? No. Okay, so let's see what we got going here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got all the way up to 7. That's going to be very expensive. These take 3 hits. on now. I'm getting a text from my spouse. She's on the road, so I've got to check that. She's on the road, so I need to stay in touch with her. Okay. So again, these ants take 3 hits, which is indicative of, as I've already said, of how we're kind of in a funny place power-wise. We just don't have the damage output that we need anymore. It's why we are not going to explore this next area very thoroughly. We're going to come back after we have more power. There's a really nasty ant with like a flat head. He's coming, and we are not going to fight it. Maybe some other time. So it's fine to kill those little flying ants if you want, but I would let the flat-headed ant go for a while. It's like a battering ram. It just hits so hard. Now if you can stay kind of behind it, beside it, it's not so bad, but it's pretty much immune to damage from the front. So you've got to let it get right on you before you can start to hurt it. We can talk to Ranni again.
Let us speak of the past a while. I was once an Empyrean of the demigods. Only I, Nicola, and Melania could claim that title. Each of us was chosen by our own 2 fingers as a candidate to succeed Queen Marika, to become the new god of the coming age, which is when I received Blythe, in the form of a vassal tailored for an Empyrean. But I would not acquiesce to the 2 fingers. I stole the rune of death, slew mine own Empyrean flesh, casting it away. I would not be controlled by that thing. The 2 fingers and I have been cursing each other ever since, and the baleful shadows are their assassins.
So Ranni really is completely at odds with the established order of things. But that may not be a bad thing. Now, as I've said, we're kind of out of our depth here. These Nox enemies, we've seen a couple of them already, but they just dodge very well. So until we get that night comet, we're at a disadvantage with them. And as far as our just general damage dealer, this Great Shard is just kind of out of gas now. I mean, it's not that it won't do the job, but, 3 casts, I mean, that just takes time. Especially, I mean, even though we have our Radigan icon, which improves casting's time, it just, I'd rather do 1 slow cast than dodging around trying to get 3 off, A lot of this comes down to play style, but I would rather kind of take the 1-shot single cast over the just having to dodge a lot. Let's just shut things down quickly. That's my strategy and my recommendation. So anyway, we don't have what it takes, I don't think, in terms of the goal of the stream, which is kind of a comfortable playthrough for beginners. So we've activated that grace. We can come back here anytime we want. What I want to do now is come back here and put some upgrades on our mimic tier. Fewer than you would expect. We've got 16,000 runes.
Greetings. You...
1, 2, 3, 4. Can't quite make it to 5. So we've got a +4. What now? Well, I think it's time, since we can't really continue successfully with Ranni's story, which is where we just were. Let's go to some other areas and just kind of focus on powering up a bit. We'll start by going to this area, Sellia, Town of Sorcery. That's where we'll get our Night Comet spell, which is one of the things we need to continue with Ranni's story. I'm going to rest till morning. And from here, we're just going to ride up the road. Some things to note. There's a giant troll on this cliff. Can you see him? That will throw things at you. So you don't want to stop. These skeleton marionette things can do fire attacks. You don't want to hang out. There's some stuff there that on the ground you can pick up, but it's like rune, gold rune 2s. That's not what I would consider worthwhile. Stop by the shack. And it's all kind of geared to get you to stop, so these other things can damage you. You see that dog there? It's kind of a watchdog for the shack. If you give it some distance, it'll never come after you. I think if you rode right up to it, it probably would. Look at this strange person with their strange posture.
Oh, a pleasure to see you. A pleasure indeed. I am Gari, a great sage. In my day, anyway. I'd hoped to ask a favor when one of your ilk came along. A strapping young tarnished, able to cross the scarlet swamp of Liurnia. Don't fret, I'll provide fine recompense. Should you accept, I will teach you the secret of Sellia, the town you see there. Ah, then you are willing to lend a hand, are you? I need your help to heal a certain young girl. Her name is Millicent. You will find her beyond Sellia, resting at the church atop the cliff, stricken by the rotting sickness. The rotting sickness that afflicts Millicent has no cure. When the Earth Tree flourished, even the demigods could not stave off its effects, despite their nigh godhood. But Millicent's suffering can be ameliorated. For this, you are to find a certain needle. Seek the deep scarlet swamp of Liurnia outside Sellia's bounds. The needle, made from unalloyed gold, is lost somewhere there. First, you must find the unalloyed gold needle. It's hidden somewhere in the deep scarlet swamp of Liurnia. Then I will tell you, as promised, the secret of the town of Sellia.
So we're going to do things out of order. We're actually going to clear out Sellia first and then get the needle. Pursuing this quest line is very worthwhile because it's one of the easiest ways to get a bunch of certain ingredient that you need to make cures for rot. and we will need a few of those very soon. So we will be doing that quest line. Instead of going through the main gate of the town, I like to go around. There's a save point over here that makes it a good base of operations. Here we go. So let's activate and probably rest so these skeletons will stop chasing us. It's morning, which is perfect. So this city, its whole gimmick is that the enemies are all ghosts. So they're invisible, and then they're visible, and blah blah blah. But things are going to be pretty different because we have our mimic tier, which is going to do a good job of kind of keeping things stable. And also because our glintblade phalanx will go after invisible enemies and often stagger them. So we shouldn't have a very difficult time with this. Now note that the tier, unlike some of the other summons, uses health and not FP. So you need to remember that. You don't want to go into a boss fight and summon him and then you're walking around with just a little health, right? So you want to stay on top of that. Be sure you heal afterwards. But all we really need to do is keep our phalanx active, and things will take care of themselves otherwise. Another thing is this: the mimic tier is typically very aggressive, which is going to be a very nice change of pace from our headless friend, who often was not aggressive and would kind of let things come after us at what seemed like the worst possible times. So but you can you can see how this is going. This is a big shift in terms of survivability. I think you can also see, if this is +4, how great it is going to be when we get it up some more. This is one of the reasons why I prioritize Ranni stuff, even though it might seem hard, is because it's great to get this going, and in a sense it's kind of wasted resources to upgrade a different one when these gloveworts are really hard to come by early on. We'll come down here first. Another nice thing is, as we kill groups of enemies, our flasks will replenish. So this is just a very comfortable time for us. And it's actually much harder with different builds. Like, this is something where we're just kind of ideally suited for dealing with this area. Okay, good. These sealed areas will open once we light some braziers all around town. Um, and there's some pretty good loot. One item in particular is that we've already talked about, the night comet. That is just that's just an essential tool. We're very close to the dog. The thing about the dog is it applies rot, which makes it really dangerous. Fortunately, our partner doesn't get rot, so if they get to him first, it works out really well for us. But there's only one of those, so we've killed it. We don't have to worry about that particular thing happening. There's another sealed door. So our partner took care of that. There's one of Mikola's lily. We're really into the Trina ones for reasons that will actually become clear pretty soon. I think we already cleared this area out. I think that might be the whole... Did we go back there? Oh, I thought that was dead. Okay. So we're probably done for now with all of that. There's probably there might be two more over here. Good. I really do think that's it. Now there's a boss over there that we'll be fighting with the night comet, actually. Get a seed. In addition to the three sealed areas that have treasure in them, this opens as well once we do all three towers. There's one, there's two, and there's three. That one way off in the distance isn't anything. It looks like something, but it's not. So, I'm going to do some platforming with Torrent. It's kind of a hassle, but the good news is it's not really dangerous. You know, I mean, that's annoying because we have to go back and do it again, but we didn't get hurt, right? So, you know, don't sweat this too much. Just do your thing. There's probably some enemies on the roofs here that we'll want to take care of. Once I light this, I'm gonna try to lock on with my great bow and see. Not yet. So we'll go to this next roof and see if that changes. Okay, so we can definitely see that thing there, which we're going to just charge a great bow shot. There's an Ash of War that we won't be using, but the double slash. But it's right there. I feel like there could be some of these cuckoo marionette things, but maybe not. In any case, we're just gonna go over to this roof right here. There's one. Anyways, you make your way around, keep doing target lock just to see if you hit anything. We got a couple options as far as getting over here. I'm gonna come here. If you just kind of jump up against walls, you'll be able to go most everywhere. That's this weird thing. I'll just go there so you can see it. If you're like me, you're never going to use it. The cerulean tear scarab, which I think is a hat. Yes. It improves the amount you get from the cerulean tears, but increases your damage taken. Well, I'm embarrassed to admit, but our mind isn't even high enough for that to matter right now. And I don't know that we would take more damage as a trade-off besides, but you know, it's there if you want it. I wouldn't have even gone and looked at it, but it is sorcery related, so I thought you should at least see it for yourself and make your own decision about it. This will open a second door, and now we just have the third one over there. This is likewise we're going to walk on this so because it's easier to pick up this stone sword key. Then we're going to go back to jumping. Now at this point there's one more thing I guess I should show you in terms of loot here on the rooftops. It's not here. It's that thing way over there. I'm really just showing it to you so that you can, kind of like that scarab, you can decide for yourself. I don't use it. Staff of Loss. Now, Staff of Loss, when casting invisibility sorceries, but that is reason enough for some to wield it. Now, when they say invisibility, what they really mean is night sorcery. So, it could, for instance, improve the damage of our night comet, which sounds nice, but we just don't really do enough of that, to me, to justify upgrading a whole staff. We kind of get trapped with this meteorite staff. It's got, if you look, it's got 173 sorcery scaling, where this would start with 127, and then we'd have to start upgrading it. And in terms of money and stones, just I don't bother with anything until we can use Renala's scepter, actually, the regal scepter. Some people like to upgrade the Academy Glintstone staff as kind of an intermediate, but the truth is you have to get that thing really high level. There's our Night Comet spell. Before it surpasses the Meteorite staff, and by then you're probably close to using the scepter. So to me, in terms of resources, I just stick with this staff until we're ready to make the big jump at I think 50, is it? Maybe it's 60. In any case, we're committed. So we've gotten everything now. We've got the Night Comet. We've got the imbued sword key. We've got the Spelldrake talisman that will protect us from magic damage. So I think at this point we're ready to go through the big sealed door and do a boss fight try this comet out. Now we're very close to being able to upgrade the Mimic tier again, but we're kind of doing a dance, right? We need that Comet Shard. That's job one, I think. So let's not upgrade. Oh, I need to equip the Night Comet. So memorize spell. And so, unfortunately, this means if you look at our intelligence and stamina, we're unfortunately going to see a big drop when we put this on. And we're also going to have to take off our gloves. So there's a steep price to pay for having that crown on. And we definitely don't want to have it on any longer than we have to. So, we're gonna buy this spell, and then I think our next focus is gonna be leveling up to get that one more intelligence. Because once we're at one more point, we can use the talisman I was talking about instead of this crown. So, as a reminder, once we summon our buddy, we need to heal immediately. And then we just need to kind of keep our shield up and kind of stay alive until our buddy can start taking aggro, which they will do quite quickly. There we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and drink this. You can charge these. And unfortunately, they're not very resistant to magic, which is great. But as you can see, our ashes are doing fantastic there. Really doing a great job. The Nox Flowing Sword, which has an interesting special move. It's a dex weapon, so we won't be using it, but it's it's kind of wild. Lusat's Glintstone staff, like the other staff, I'm pretty sure this is a trade-off where things cost more FP but do more damage. It requires 52 intelligence, which is pretty wild. Yes. More power, but more FP. Not a trade-off we're really looking for, at least not. Maybe a new game plus. But until we get our intelligence to 80, we're not going to be investing in mind to the degree that would make things like that worthwhile. So it's not really on the menu at the moment. So we've got enough to buy that sorcery. Let's go for it right away. Now the big downside of this is it does take more FP, and it takes longer to cast, but you can charge it to do some pretty massive damage. But the big downside is it takes more
Shall we commence the lesson?
stamina, and because this crown has affected that, we're gonna run out of stamina before we run out of FP most of these fights. So we're constantly going to have to kind of babysit our stamina, because you have to have enough to dodge or block, right? So this is going to be a thing that we're going to have to be mindful of. Hopefully not for too long. Now that we've done this, we're going to try and fight the boss that has that gold needle. Okay? And I'll talk you through it. Fortunately, this is something we can do on our on torrent, which helps a lot. Actually, you know what I want to do before I do that? I'm actually going to spend some runes to upgrade our Mimic tier one more time, just to give him a little bit more durability. This fight is kind of hard on them. So let's see what it'll take. 6,800. So we need 5,000. But look at all these sevens we've got. So that was easy. Don't hoard these runes. If you need them, use them.
Greetings.
That's what they're for. Okay, I think a +5 will do better, and plus we won't have to worry about losing runes in this fight. So if we come here, I'm pretty sure that it's in this tangle here. We'll see. It is in a big tangle of kind of gnarled roots and stuff. So this thing here to the southwest is what I'm guessing. And somewhere in here is it's actually a site of grace. Oh, we can see it over there. Be sure and don't get caught in these kind of explosions or geysers. They will most likely kill you, and if not, infect you with rot, which might as well kill you. So good, we've rested. The fight should be, I think, right up here. Yeah, there he is. We can lock on him. So what's going to happen in this fight? This guy is going to summon a bunch of spirits to fight for him, and then he's going to swing his big standard around. He can call up kind of a rot whirlwind, which you get a little warning for, so definitely get away from him. At around halfway, he's going to summon more spirits, but they're going to be stronger. there'll be fewer of them and they'll be slower, but they're going to hit harder. Now that by that time we should be able to just kite around on our horse and kind of chip away at the boss. But the first phase we're actually going to kill the companions, and to do that we're going to use charge attacks. Then when we start fighting him, we're going to stop using charge and just use standard ones. And the reason for that is we want to try to get some aggro away from our mimic. We probably won't succeed, but if we're charging, it's just too hard to get his attention. So we're going to start just really kind of spamming the Comet Shard. Now, again, watch your endurance. We have limited stamina right now, and you're going to run out. So don't get down to the minimum, because this guy hits hard, and if he runs up to you and you can't run away, it's going to hurt. All right? So let's call our friend Janka Cerulean. And again, my first goal is going to be doing charged comet attacks on his summons. Note that he's coming towards us, so don't get caught up in that. So our friend's really getting hit hard, so try to just keep at it. Alright, so he's calling his friends at this point. But we got him. So upgrading +5 was definitely worth it. I don't think she would have made it otherwise. You know, she got all the way to the end of the fight, basically. So now we have the gold needle. Just for future reference, because I'm going to do this off camera between now and the next thing. If you come up here, just east of that side of Grace, there are a ton of dragonflies, and you need dragonfly heads to upgrade, or not upgrade, but craft poison cures, and we're going to need about 10 of those on Monday. So I'm not going to make you watch me do that again and again, but between now and Monday I will do this off camera, and if you are playing along, you'll probably want to collect around 10 or so. But for now, we won't be doing that. We're just going to keep moving. Again, that's just east of this heart of Aeonia. So it's evening. As always, let's wait till morning. And take the needle to Gowrie. Don't forget about the dog.
You found the unalloyed gold needle. As promised, I've detailed the secret of Sellia right here. Go on. It's yours.
There's the secret.
Let me have a look at the needle. Well, this is a marvel indeed. The work of a true artisan, a meticulous, bold craftsman who grasps the essence of life. Can you give me some time with this? As well made as it is, it won't be much use snapped in half, will it?
Alright, so first of all, we can look at the secret. Light 3 flames, top the candle to break the seal. So we're already on top of that secret. If we leave the game and come back in, Gowry will be finished with the needle. So rather than travel and then ride back, since there's no grace right here, it's kind of annoying. We'll just do it this way.
I have awaited your return. The needle is repaired. Now it will forestall the rotting sickness, I'm sure. Will you give it to the girl, Millicent? I will reward you in kind. Millicent rests at the church atop the cliff beyond Sellia, the town yonder, tended to by the witless pests who worship her, or rather her rotting sickness, as a god. A wretched fate, indeed. The poor girl, she never wished for any of this.
Okay, so let's go up the hill. Still morning. There's a couple places where these giant black balls are just going to appear and start rolling at us. The way I deal with that is I stay to one side so that I can rush to the other side. They are pretty fast, and they can steer a little bit, but not much, right? So if you wait till it gets going and then kind of dash over, it's not a big deal. There's some skeletons around here, so you don't really want to stop. You want to just stay left. You can see those pests, they're called, over there. We don't want to mess with them at the moment. We want to just go in here, get the tear, activate the grace in case something goes wrong. And now here's Millicent.
Who's there? Well, it matters not. If you are wise, you will leave immediately. My flesh writhes with scarlet rot. It is a curse, not to be meddled with by man. You ask that I stab myself with the needle to quell the scarlet rot, but how? Never mind. I've decided I would rather trust you than simply continue to spoil from within. Would you mind averting your eyes for a moment? Well, that was easier than expected. But why do I feel so?
Alright, we need a rest. And now she'll stand up.
I hoped to see you again. My apologies.
for when last we met. I fainted before I could even thank you. Everything is as you said. Since inserting the needle, the scarlet rot has ceased to writhe. Even the nightmares have abated. And now, though I can scarcely believe it myself, I can move as I please. Not that I could ever truly repay you, but I would like you to have this, by way of thanks. A token though it is.
And this is nice. It gives a good boost to dexterity.
I'm considering leaving
Um,
on a journey. With the needle buried in my flesh, I've started to recall, but dimly, my destiny. It's all thanks to you. My name is Millicent. I pray fate permits us meet again.
Before we forget, let's add our sacred tier. Okay, so yeah, we'll use that dex thing. We're gonna do some pretty. See, she's gone now. We're gonna do some pretty shameful cheese in a later game boss, and the bow's gonna be part of it. So we'll probably put that on to improve our damage somewhat. These are the sacramental buds. This is the rare ingredient I was talking about for making a cure for rot, the rejuvenate or the bolus. What's it called? The preserving bolus. Yes. So we need a lot of these buds, and they're very rare. They don't come back after you rest. Once you've found it, that's it. So interestingly, that means that there's a finite number of items in the game that can be used to cure the scarlet rot. Now, there's magic that we can use, and we will use. There's there's a place where we will be curing rot, and I'm not exaggerating, every less than 10 seconds. It is a very intense and hostile place we'll be going to, and we'll be using that spell to survive. But the bolus is still the best. It's fast, for one thing. We don't need, a seal for doing incantations. In our case, we won't need a talisman that raises our faith, because we don't have enough faith to cast that spell without a buff. So there's just a million reasons to make these boluses, even once we have access to magic that will cure rot. Let's see, how many do we have now? 13. Yeah, that's pretty good. There are more in the world, but in terms of like just getting a bunch all at once, this is it. This is the place. Okay, I think that's everything. 16, I mean, that's pretty good. I'll be happy with 10. So we've done this. Now we got a couple of options. I think the best thing we could do, though, is to keep the Millicent thing moving. We're going to go right back to the shack, which again has no fast travel, which is frustrating for a place you have to go to again and again. There's a cave just north of that church we were just at, where you can find a primal sorcery. If you want to complete Sellen's quest, you need that. It might also be a legendary sorcery, which you would need for the platinum. Uh, I really hate that cave, and I hate getting to it. The enemy there is like this. It's like a magic casting ogre. That's kind of unflinching. It's like a crucible knight that casts spells. Just a really obnoxious enemy. That I'm not interested.
Something about this place felt familiar to me, so I decided to pay a visit, hoping to find someone here, but I've only found emptiness. Perhaps before my departure, I needed someone to say farewell to. Well, never mind that. I must focus on my journey, for which I have you to thank. I must stay strong.
Okay. Once again, leaving and coming back. He's back
Thank
again.
you kindly for giving the needle to Millicent. Now she too can begin her journey and stare her fate straight in the eye. You've been a saint through and through. As thanks, I vow to impart to you my knowledge of the lost sorceries of the Sellians, descendants of the Eternal.
So now we can buy spells from him. The Night Shard is a fast and very low damage version of the Night Comet. Unfortunately, it's so low damage that I think it's mostly only good for hassling other players. The Night Maiden's Mist is kind of interesting. I may buy it eventually. Right now, runes are too tight to mess with that, but it's there, you know. And I'm sure we'll have it eventually. So, we'll see Millicent again later, but what to do now? Well, you know, one of the things I think I want to do is get some of that cave moss, which I think we can find down here somewhere. We don't. Well, let's take a look. So, yeah, we need crystal cave moss. I think there's some down here. We'll see. Oh, but we need herba to go in there. Alright, so this is kind of boring and I apologize, but it's just what needs to be done. We're going to come over here to the Mistwood outskirts. We're going to jump on our horse. And if we go directly southwest, for some reason, dew-kissed herba is like every 5 feet underground, but actual herba is exotic. So we're going to collect it, and then we're going to travel back. I'm just going to do this a couple times. Again, going southwest from that point of grace. Alright, we've got 8. That's good. I think that's okay for now. Let's go back here one last time. We'll kill a few dragonflies. It should only take a second. I'm going to put on Night Comet. Again, this is just east of the heart of Aeonia. In theory, these shouldn't dodge Night Comet, although some of them do somehow. And I guess we'll just never hit that one. Yep, that one's just permanently out. I don't know why. Oh, we got it. Good. Alright, so let's pillage. Is that everything? There's one over here. Alright, I think that's plenty for now. Okay. Back we go. This should be a comfortable, easy time, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Let me see, some jellyfish, which are usually a good indicator. I hope this is the right place. I can't really remember. Yeah, this is it. There are so many of those, is it crystal I want? Let's see. Yes, it's crystal. There are so many of these things on the ground, you can't kill them all. Focus on the things above ground. And do a lot of locking on, because there's a lot of stuff kind of lurking in the dark. There's a bat over here, just to the right. If you stand in that cloud, you'll get poisoned. And just because we have cures to poison doesn't mean we want to use them. So, you know, I personally am going to be patient. There we go. Keep doing the lock on. You can go down there if you want. I don't. Let's see here. You gotta jump this. What's this say? Be wary of enemy. Try target lock. I think this is probably more bats. Yeah. The nice thing is we can one-shot them, so you know, focus on getting your lock so you don't get oh, that one's a tough one. Took 3 hits, but still wasn't enough. Hopefully that's all of them. We'll find out, I guess, pretty quickly. 5 and a 6, that's nice. Do not roll in this kind of deep poison or rot. All that does is coat your body, and then it keeps building up even after you get out of it. So I know it's kind of instinctive to roll to speed up your traversal rate, but do not roll in the poison. We're getting lots of cave moss here, which is great. There are a bunch of bats in here, like a bunch. Enough for you probably to put a phalanx on just in case things go wrong. See how bad that was? I think it might have been better if we'd gone around this way. In fact, I'm sure it is, because you have this whole room. So if you're watching this and then planning to try it, try taking this right route so that it's easier to lock on stuff. Once again, we have to jump. There are a lot of these guys. There's a stake, so if we die, it's not the end of the world. I'm personally not needing to charge my shots for this, so you probably don't either. Again, as a reminder, don't roll. Just don't do it. Keep an eye on your poison buildup so that you can, you know, get out. And again, do not roll. And we've made it to the boss. Now, there's going to be poison on the ground during this fight. I'm going to top off my magic because, I mean, we're here. And remember, yeah, I'm going to keep reminding you of this for a while. Remember that once we summon our mimic tier, we need to heal because our health is going to be down. So first, I'm going to pop this. And then we're going to traverse. I'm going to summon. I'm going to drink. You can see all this poison on the ground. Look out for that glowing As a reminder, we have poison on our, quick use. So now that we're here, I'm not even gonna pop it. We got our insignia. We beat our boss. I'm just gonna teleport us out of here because the tick rate on poison is kind of low, and I would just rather save our healing stuff. We're still poisoned. But the grace should heal us. Yep. So, in 6,000 runes, we can level up. So there's a few things I want to do fairly quickly. The first is I want to make these. See how many we can make. We can make 6. Looks like we're missing the crystal cave moss. Let's just grab a couple more while we're here. We don't need a ton of them. I think if we just have like a couple more, we'll be fine. Oh, it looks like I picked up 3 when I did that, so we're good. That's plenty. Let's get out of here. So there's a couple things, only a couple things I want to do. I guess it's Saturday, we'll just kind of go for it, do it all. The first thing we want to do now is I want to take the runes we have, and I want to level up once. And that way when we get the well, no, we don't need to. I mean, do what's comfortable for you. As you can see, I'm taking a chance. I'm walking around with 19,000 runes, right? But we'll be able to get a couple thousand more between now and when we find the talisman where we need. So we want to be here, which will take us to here. To do that, the best starting place is Highway North. And then we're just going to roll that way. Now, there's a few things we can do along the way. We're not going to fight these wolves. There's a crab up here. We might as well take out. That charge shot just is a game changer in terms of damage output. So here's a mariner that we might as well kill. Let's call our friend up. Let's heal. Remember to heal. Oh, don't. Ah, boy, how embarrassing. I popped a. Alright, let's get this thing. Now, this kind of. Something that's frustrating about these Mariner bosses is how they just kind of teleport places, and it can be hard to find them. But as always, you know, we've got our flask active, so we're doing these really good charge attacks, and that's it. So that's a quick 4,000 runes. That definitely gets us a lot closer to leveling up. This guy is a Knight of the Golden Order. We'll see a lot of those when we get to Lindell, the Ashen Capital, and you know they're always dangerous. Like, to me, no matter how high level I get, you know, they're always kind of intimidating. They do lightning damage. They don't stagger very easily. And that one is pretty far from home. They have a book of incantations, though, that if you are a faith build, you'll want to get. It's got lightning magic in it, which is awesome. So definitely a fight worth having early on, even if you have to try a couple of times. Let's wait until morning. So, moving right along, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to come down here and activate a Side of Grace, and then we're going to come around here. And just for an FYI, there's another river well over here that eventually we will explore, but it's not a priority for us at the moment. So yes, we have to walk way out on this thing and jump. Yeah. As always, for these, I think they're called witches. The charge shot is your friend. You'll be doing a lot of that. That rolling thing up there is bad news. They're technically killable, but they're actually very hard to kill, so I always just run. So we did 2 charged and 1 short to finish him off. There's another one. So not bad. You get an emote, but more importantly, this is the spell I was talking about that will cure rot. It does cause you to lose a little bit of health as a trade-off, but it's definitely worth it. So, fire cleanse me. Now let's curve down and around. There's a Side of Grace tucked away over here that we'll activate real quick. And now we'll run down the hill. And again, that river well's over there. There's a golem guarding it, but at this point in our career, we have no trouble defeating something like that. Fire monk armor. A lot of protection, but it's also very heavy. Definitely too heavy for us at the moment. There's always wolves around Ranni, which is interesting. I think maybe we can kind of see why. You know, there's this idea of wolves being sent by the two fingers to watch over, or surveil is probably a better word. I mean, it's not necessarily benevolent. Surveil possible future, you know, leaders, or demigods ascendant. So this is the Carrion Study Hall, and you can do it twice. There are two ways to do it. Let's peek over here. There's a village where we can get a bunch of cracked pots over there, and we will go there eventually. We don't really need it right now, but it's on the menu. Now, this place is kind of dangerous, so I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to level up. We've got enough, so let's just do it. And in this way, once we find the talisman, we can immediately get rid of this crown and get our health and stamina back. So there are two ways you can do this. If you just walk in, you can go upstairs, you can take this lift. You can have a fight with a really irritating invader wizard that teleports around and surrounds themselves with, you know, the kind of noble or aristocrats that will kind of interrupt your attacks while you're trying to fight them. And in exchange, you get, I think, Rain of Stars, something. It's not, to me, a very good spell unless you're casting it on a very large boss that doesn't move a lot. So I don't do it. I can't remember if it's legendary. You might need it for the platinum, but this is not a platinum playthrough. This is not a 100% playthrough. This is a playthrough about getting through the game comfortably, and I don't consider that fight very comfortable, especially considering the rewards. So we're just gonna do the other one, the upside down one, where we use Ranni's inverted hourglass. And once again, this is all optional content. If you haven't done Ranni's stuff so far, you're never going to see any of this, which is wild to me. So, see here, there's the lift now. Everything's upside down. Inside that walkway are some of these hand enemies. You remember those. And they are just terrible. And if you jump in there, like, just, you know, like, hey, I got this, I'm just gonna go on in, they will stun lock you to death. It doesn't really matter how much health you have or anything. The three of them together will just absolutely kill you. So don't do that. There's one more, I think. Isn't there? No? Well, we'll find out. Alright, it's unfortunate, but I used a whole flask on that. We're going to have to try to be conservative. There's this clown. As you can see, they do a lot more damage to us than we do to them. We're gonna get a charge off here, though. This isn't going very well. Let's see if I can reach it with a shard. I did. So that might be the way to go. If we stay back here, it's going to hit the lip. We can do some charge shots. Now you can see they've vanished. They're just on the other side. So, this is kind of weird. There are usually like 3 or 4 hands down here, but they're not down there. I wonder why. Right where I'm looking, where that blood is. I wonder what's going on. Well, if there are in your playthrough, and there probably will be, take them out at range. Don't get mixed up in a bunch of hand-to-hand stuff. There's also usually a knight that will turn up here. I don't know what he's shooting at. Alright, so you can see that's kind of what you want to do there. You get the lucidity, which I can't remember what it helps with. We can look. Alleviates buildup of sleep and madness. So we were talking about madness buildup earlier, and if you wanted to avoid that, there's something you could do. Now here are some hands that are just hanging out. There's no reason not to snipe them. There's another one kind of lurking around that corner there. What I like to do, you know, as always, our old friend. The other thing we can do is start charging and then walk around. Right? That works very well. So that should be the last thing we have to fight. The challenge now is going to be some kind of dangerous platforming, right? Which starts here. Now, I don't know whether it's better to go to that one or that one. I just go to this one because that's my habit. There's no reason not to run, so hold down the run button and run and jump. And then all we want to do is find a good place to jump off. Oh! But that's not it, is it? The good news is the sorcerer with the great bow is gone. So tedious, yes. As tedious, no. We just have to get rid of these hands. As a reminder, don't jump in there. Even if you're in a hurry, don't you do it. See, there they are. I don't know why they weren't there before. If you're wondering why we didn't go get that loot over there, it's a mask of confidence, which I think it's the same mask that Preceptor Sellia is wearing. It adds to your arcane, which we're not doing anything with in this playthrough. But obviously, if you look at this. The nice thing is, it's a lot easier to deal with something like that when you don't have somebody firing Loretta's great bow at you, right? So, I wonder if that means we'll have that other one show up. There's one with a sword and shield that's sometimes down there. Alright. Here we go again. Alright, great. Oh, wow. So I was not expecting that. That was a little scary, wasn't it? If that happens to you, and I've never had that happen to me, if that happens to you, my main advice would be, this isn't actually a jump. I would just run off and see. Hopefully nobody follows you. That's what I would do. I wouldn't fight them at all if I had it to do over again. Or now that I'm prepared, you know, I just wouldn't chance it. So, okay, obviously we need to be, I thought I could just do like a side walk, and that was wrong. So I think what I really want to do is, I want to try to walk straight here, and then if I fail, I'll just drop down to the next one. Yeah. So plan B would have just been to land here, which would have been fine. Now let's jump off. And now we've done it. That's it for the inverted study hall. Now we just have to get across the bridge, which is its own interesting matter. So I don't drink any more poison cures. Put my flask back here. So, no, these are the arches, and the doors are all upside down. So, you know, we can go out here. So we are just about to wrap things up. There is a fight up here that is kind of a drag, and not really, to be honest, worth it. And you can ride your horse here and just run to the other end of the bridge and go inside. And that's probably the best thing to do. I'm going to try to actually defeat the boss. I'm only going to try it once because my strategy involves the sleep pots, and to do that you need a Trina's lily. And like the sacramental buds, Trina's lilies are what's called exceedingly rare. Like, they don't respawn. So there's a finite number in the world, and I really need some for a very hard fight much later in the game. So I don't want to just be extravagant with this crafting here. So we're gonna put them here so that I can throw them, you know, by hitting the square button. If I do this right, I should only need 2. Now, what's this going to involve? Well, first of all, I don't want to fight the enemy where it spawns. I want to bring him back here so that my runes are closer to this side of grace, right? That makes sense. I'm going to drink my flask, which is going to power up my charge attacks. Then I'm going to try to put this asleep and do a bunch of charge attacks in a row, and hopefully stagger him for a critical hit, then put him to sleep again. Will this work? I honestly don't know what's going to happen. But like I said, I'm only going to do this once because I'm not going to do more lilies. Unfortunately, he ran through the pot. Unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of I was going to do this dumb roll again. So that's a shame. I hate that I wasted. Maybe I can make one more. We'll see what happens. There he goes. Pretty scary, huh? So for that, you only get 4,800 runes and his hideous, really hideous armor. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But I wanted you to see it. So that's what happens there. There's other tactics you can use, like, as you saw, we could like hit him with the great bow, then run away, then hit him again, and keep going back and forth with that. It's a stupid enemy, and that's a stupid reward, unless you just want that outfit, which some people online seem to really like it. I think it's terrible. It just grosses me out. In any case, we have finally made it to the Divine Tower of Liurnia, which is means our episode is nearly at an end. Up we go. And we've got enough intelligence that we can take this crown off, fortunately. We're about 8,000 shy of a level up, so what we'll probably do is go upgrade our mimic instead. Now look at this. Usually there's a 2 fingers at the top of these towers, but instead we have a body. Looks a little larger than a human body, i.e. probably a demigod. Remember, Ranni was larger than our size, normal human size. Curse mark of death, Stargazer heirloom. So let's look at this curse mark of death, shall we? Curse mark carved into lunar princess Ranni's discarded flesh. This is Ranni. This is Ranni's body. Also known as the half-wheel wound of the centipede. This curse mark was carved at the moment of death of the first demigod, and should have taken the shape of a circle. However, 2 demigods perished at the same time, breaking the curse mark into 2 half-wheels. The other was Godwyn the Golden, that we saw in the opening cinematic. Ranni was the first of the demigods whose flesh perished, while the Prince of Death perished in soul alone. Alright. So, that's Ranni right there. You can see it looks like she had red hair, which just like her father Radagon has red hair. So that's interesting. Ranni gave us the means to come up here and see this. First of all, let's take our crown off. Unfortunately, we're going to have to get rid of one of these. Either casting time or the talisman. For now, we'll try both, but for now, I want to keep the turtle. Stamina is just so important. And now we're back to normal. So that's good. I also just hate the way the crown looks. It offends my sensibilities. And you can see our stamina and health have jumped way back up. So that's great. And with that out of the way, we are probably done for the day. Now on Monday, we're going to try to get the talisman that allows us to earn more runes with every kill. We won't be able to wear it all the time, but for kind of general fighting mobs, it's definitely going to make it more rewarding. So that'll be job one, and then we're going to go back to continue Ranni's quest line in the second Eternal City. Okay, and who knows how far we'll get in that. Once that's done, we'll go back to the main storyline proper. All right, so that's it for today. I apologize to everybody who tuned in yesterday and wasn't, I messed up. But hopefully it was worth the wait, and we'll see you in a couple days. Have a good weekend.